4, 3, 2.
Hey, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. How you been? Hopefully, you've had a heck of a day, people. I've not had a bad one, to be honest with you. All things considering, I think it was a pretty good hump day. Hump day. Now, what do you know? There it is. Oh, I killed the volume and everything. Now let me get this thing set up. It's a bit of a juggle, people. If you really want to, but Calhoun is running a pretty tight ship around this campus, and now I'm getting everything kind of set up. You know, feeling a little anxious around here. Truthfully, I am feeling a little anxious. I'm gonna tell you why. It's not for any of the fun reasons. Sorry, people. 2 seconds. No, so I don't know about you guys, but as for me, I've been a little on edge all day. The Relata boat is just a boat tonight. I'm going to be flying solo on this, and which I've done plenty of times. However, I'll be honest, I haven't done it a lot on the call-ins. Now, it's fun having Reese on the call-ins. I absolutely can do it, to be sure. I'm not bummed out that Reese isn't here. I'm bummed out that I haven't seen Reese all day. She doesn't really put up any content. I think she's having a day that people have them. You know, people have those days, and that's a thing. I just I worry about Reese. I worry about everybody on the boat. I really do. But I've become fond of Reese. I'm fond of her. I think it's her sparkling sense of humor. Well, it's probably a bunch of things, but I'm pretty fond of her sense of humor too. But there's been a call for some suggestions for our call-in number. Calhouni is putting this together. It really is Spank's baby, you know. And by the way, before I go on, man, a big, huge shout out to my son, Spanx Calhoun. You know, and my son. You know, I've said it a billion times. My son's real name is Mike, but I've called him Spanx his entire life. But Spanky's killing it. He's just hitting it out of the park. This I didn't think that we were going to get. I didn't think we were going to get to where we are. Hi, Tommy. I enjoyed the past few shows. I always do, just especially so. Thank you, teacher nurse. I'll tell you what. I'm having a lot of fun doing what we're doing here. I'm having a crap load of fun using the system that we've got in place right now for the call-ins. The first time we did it, it was stressful. I don't think you have any idea how close we came to not having a call-in show ever. And you know that's perfect because it makes for a great story down the road, right? But in the very beginning, that first night, we were sitting around. It was me and Reese and Spanky, and I said, "You know what? This isn't going to go. This isn't going to fly. Let's pull the plug on this." And I got a text from both of them at the same time that just said, "You know what? Give it one more call, and then boom, or one more try, and then the next thing you knew, there was a call there." That if you could have watched what my kid was doing trying to make that go, holy hell, man! But before we went into it, we said this is going to be a. I was going to say something that it was not PG-13, but what I'll say is this: it was chaos, is what it was. It was complete and utter chaos. It was organized chaos. Calhoun knew what he was doing, but holy hell, the hoops! And honestly, it was like a Lucas electrical system. Do I have any Brits on here? Anybody from Great Britain? It's like the Lucas electrical system on an automobile and say a Jaguar, where you throw your left turn signal and the horn might go off. You know what I'm saying? Kind of unpredictable. We were doing the same kind of thing. We were using one device to get us to another device to get us to another device. The way that Calhouni's got it set up now is just Streamline, I think, is the word that comes to mind. It's at this point, it's just a well-run machine, a well-oiled machine, if you will. It's and that's the dream. But we are taking suggestions, people, for our call-in number 800. We wanted the lifeboat. The lifeboat's not an option. So Calhouni has been taking suggestions. I'm sure by now he's probably going, you know what, Dad, I don't need any more suggestions. However, one way or the other, that's what he's getting. He's getting suggestions, whether he likes it or not. I'm sober and connect or connection. Those are taken, right? A lot of the ones that you would think, I wonder if they thought, oh yeah. You can pretty much guarantee that those we probably have thought of, but doesn't mean you can't send one out there. Like father, like son, gifted. I'll be really honest with you. That's a beautiful thing to say. It really is. It's a beautiful thing to say. I think that in this particular case, Spanky probably got the lion's share of the, and that's good. I'm glad about that. Don't get it messed up. I'm happy about that. But I can't do anything other than sit in front of this microphone and talk. Like that's honestly, yesterday I was imploding over affiliate, codes and oh man, the how I get people to be able to go over to buy the protein balls. We are going to do a show on it. The protein balls are available right now. They're in the drop down menu. Drop down menu. If that's not what it's called, that's what we're calling it from now on. I don't feel like hearing it. So that's all I got to say about that. That's what we're calling it. What do you think, Calvin? Can we go with that? That's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. Is it me? It's not me, is it? Could be me. Anyway, you shake it. It's what I'm going with. So I've been a little worried about Reese today, but she assures me she's tired, and that's all that it is. But when your friends say to you, "Well, I'm just tired," and you think to yourself, "I don't know that I believe that that my friend's just tired." That's kind of how I feel. And maybe it's not my business, and it probably isn't my business. But I'm always gonna stick my nose where it doesn't belong. So it's the size of it. Did you see this thing? It's hard not to put a beak like that in places that it's not invited or places that it doesn't belong. It's Shannon Smith. Well, thank you. I love to. I'm glad that you like my voice. That makes me happy. That really makes me happy. By the way, I have been lurking on numerous shows over the course of the last week. We have a bunch of talent. We have got a lot of people that have begun to. We have got a lot of ripples that are coming off. Hey, the LB show? Huh? You're right, Denise. I know. You know what? It is my business. I feel weird about the fact that it is my business. I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably not good at being a friend in the real world. If that makes sense. Prison friendship made a lot of sense. There was sort of like there's a very kind of structured. There's kind of a structured thing to the friendship that I don't get me please. I prefer this friendship to any that you would ever foster. I love Q, but it's a completely different kind of thing. It's odd too because I've had conversations with Reese and told her things that I didn't tell Q. There's something about the dynamic of of talking to a woman who's a friend as opposed to talking to a man that will enable you to open up to certain things in certain ways that you might not normally do under normal circumstances where you were talking to a dude. So that's kind of been a blessing. I'm gonna do a quick roll call now that I got the screen the way I want it and I can read everybody's name. We're gonna knock out a little roll call. It's absolutely astounding all of the things that I can see. I mean, there are things that I can see all over the place. There's just a ton of them. Shannon Smith, good to see you. Kristen Melinda, always a pleasure, and I mean that. Fancy Nancy, how are you? Dennis the Menace, Matrix Rabbit, Miss Sunrise Dawn, great to hear from you yesterday. Hope you're healing after the loss of the fur baby. Rick Smith, always an honor. Elizabeth Smith, Fancy Nancy, teacher nurse. Virginia, good to see you. Zarina, Courtney, Al Marant, good to see you. Kelly B, convict. Mary Jones, Kestrel, what's happening? Butterfly, Hey, Calhounis, how you been? Tell your mom and them I said, what's up? Bacon Bits Ben Turner, glad that you're here. Cooler by the Lake, good to see you. Leslie, girl, found him. Glad you're here. Really glad you're here. Zen, just a long-time supporter of the lifeboat and somebody that the day they walked on the boat felt like she had been here from day one. I honestly could not tell you how long she's been here. And I think that that's awesome. I love people like that. You know what? Speaking of which, I couldn't tell you within 4 months how long Bacon Bits has been here either. Another one of those cats that you just look up and you're like, no, he's kind of always been here. Seems like there was never a time without him. Egrids, hello. I believe that says Egrids. Egrids, good to see you. Valerie, what's happening? Meredith Lynn, Reggae Bubbles. Brazy, what's happening? Sonoranita, Sonora, yeah. There's no hope for that. Sonora, Sonora Anita. There we go. Sonora Anita. I couldn't begin to tell you how hard that was. Calhoun is making pancakes later. Did everybody get that memo? Hux had a game tonight. You know what? I saw a picture of Hux earlier in the batting position. It was sent over by his mom, and the kid, he's got great form. He really does. I was texting back to his mom, like he's either had somebody work with him or he's just. But he was standing up there, and I already saw him get a hit once. But pretty cool watching all that. I think it's awesome. I really do. I think it's awesome. Info Dump Truck. Good to see you. Glad you're here. What's happening? Zelda. Always a pleasure. Kristen with a C says worried about friends is cricket. It's okay. It's kosher. And I think you're right. Mary Gonzalez says shalom. Well, shalom to you too. A blueberry muffin that tastes like pancakes, says Sonora Anita. Hey, Tara, what's happening? Lurking, are you? We won't have it. There'll be no lurking this evening. We're not in the mood for any of your lurking. Well, technically, I guess if you say I'm lurking, the act of saying I'm lurking makes you not a lurker. It's like a Schrodinger's lurker kind of a thing. The observation of the lurker makes the lurker not a lurker. I think the waveform is collapsing. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't. I read it somewhere in a book, but I don't. I don't really understand the concepts. Um, I'll be really honest. You know what my takeaway was from Schrodinger's cat? There's a lot of animals that we could have thought of dead in the box. It didn't have to be a cat. You know what I mean? Why couldn't Schrodinger have done that with something we didn't like? Huh? Like maybe, oh, I don't know, Schrodinger's alligator, or something that was just a killing machine, like Schrodinger's shark. Didn't have to be a cat. That's all I'm saying. It didn't have to be a cat. And for that, I say to Schrodinger, I'm not a fan of Mr. Schrodinger. I'm probably you're up north in a blizzard, might cut out, had a day. If it could go wrong, it did. Don't ask. Um, I'm really tempted to ask. Tell you what, there's the subject. Let's talk about it. Let's do the subject on the fly, shall we? Let's talk about what Brazy's just talking about. There's nobody listening to the sound of my voice that has not said, damn, this was the worst day I've ever had in my life. And the funny thing is, we say it way too often, because really the worst day you ever had in your life, right? Those days come very infrequently. We talk about this all the time. One of the things that I do that kind of helps me keep life in perspective, right? Because I have a struggle with this. I'm not suggesting any of you do, right? For real, I'm talking about me. But I have a struggle with perspective. So I try to run everything on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So what happens in my life? I go out to start the Prius, right? And I go to turn the car over, nothing, right? Dead. And I'm not near the house, and my car's, now I got to get the damn thing towed, and I'm freaking out, right? Okay, how big a deal is that? Because I find myself saying F my life like I used to when I was a drug addict, right? And started to stomp around and act like a juvenile that just, spilt milk. But how big a deal is that? On a scale of 1 to 10, right? 10 was losing my dad, my best friend passing. That was a big deal. That was a real big deal. That was a 10. This minor stupid crap, where does that rate? Well, the car, maybe a 2 or a 3. So I'm going to get all bent out of shape and stomp around over a 2 or a 3. Having perspective that it's a 2 or a 3 changes my dome piece. Does that make sense? How about you, my friend? I don't want to put your name on the air if you don't want me to, right? Because that's always bad juju. Welcome to the lifeboat. Yes, welcome to the lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy. How are you?
Hey, Tommy, it's Matrix.
Matrix. You know something?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm glad that you're on here, my brother. I'm glad that you're on here. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. I haven't been doing too good with the rain, but I mean, talking to you, I'm a lot better.
The rain gets depressing, doesn't it?
Well, I got arthritis, so when it rains like more than one day in a row, and it's been like 3, it just kind of builds.
So. Do you know something? You know something crazy, Matrix Rabbit? My brother Johnny and I used to laugh at our grandmother. Right. This would have been on Papa Scoville's side. So this would have been Grandma Scoville. But we used to pick on her because she would say, "Oh, you know what? I know it's getting ready to rain because my shoulder or her knee or whatever." But she had these ailments that were affected directly by the weather, and we would laugh about this. And now that we're in our 50s, I'm just like you. If I get 2 or 3 days of rain in a row, I'm done. Like my whole body, it's been going on a lot around here lately. So, but it's a different kind of rain on the East Coast. Johnny and I were talking about this today too. The difference between the dry climate and the humid climate, like where you're at, is humid.
Yeah. Well, it's humid. It's getting there. I mean, it hasn't broke like 50 yet.
Yeah, that part of the country though. I did time in Pennsylvania, and I promise you, it was the most brutal time that I have ever done in incarcerated. The humidity, right? We had heat stroke all summer, and then in the winter we would freeze. There was no windows. It was in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and it was just yeah. So, do you find you find that pain driving from the weather makes it more difficult to stay sober?
No, I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes.
I'll tell you why I
mean,
ask. Pain's my biggest
I
trigger.
used to be yeah, mine too. I used to drink a lot, and when I did, I didn't have as much pain as I do now. And I know I can't do it because, well, I got heart problems, so it won't be good.
You got heart trouble too?
Yeah, I've had several nights. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got some heart trouble myself. You know what's crazy? I've been getting ready to do a project, Matrix Rabbit. I've been getting ready to come on here and talk specifically about alcohol because I've been running through every single year the numbers come out and the new ones are out. The success rate for people who go through the 12-step programs is 10%. 10% of people that go through AA are successful. If you go to inpatient treatment, the success rate is 10%. It literally does not matter what the hell system they come up with. They're not getting past 10%. And I find that so interesting. I really do. I think we're doing something wrong, man. We're doing something really wrong.
I mean, well, when I quit, I didn't use AA. I just did it. I mean, it wasn't good for me. I almost got kicked out of the Navy a couple times before because of it.
Uh-huh.
So I just quit and just never looked back. Really, it's been like 25 years now.
I love that.
So
I really do. I love that. It's a lifestyle change, right? There are people who view this. Yeah, go.
I had to change my friends. I had to change pretty much almost everything. But yeah, it's a big life change.
Booyah. Did everybody catch that? Because that is it. That's it right there, people. The reason that Matrix Rabbit has decades, right? When you start counting your sobriety in decades, right? Life is really good. I got a couple more years before I can get that first decade under my belt. But to me, that's epic. It really is. When you're knocking out decades of sober time, that's a beautiful thing. But it requires exactly what he's talking about. It's a lifestyle change. The people who go, well, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm still going to hang out with this person, and this person because we have a good time. And I'm going to stay in the dart league that I do on Friday nights. I'm just going to go down to the pub and but I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do any of that. I mean, it's laughable, right? It really is. If you watch somebody from a distance, it's laughable. It's not when you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, no, I've been there, man. I've been there. I shoot pool, so I'm just gonna go shoot pool, but I'm not gonna drink. And it's like, uh-oh.
It's a really it's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, well, luckily we got a pool hall around here now, so I don't have to do that. So
nice.
But I still, when I do go into a bar, I mean, I still have the itch to do it. It's just I can't because it's self-discipline.
That's right. It's exactly what needs to happen. I have reached a juncture in my life that there are things I simply don't do, and never will again, because I know that for me, right, it's not worth the risk, right? As weird as that may sound, there are just activities and places that I no longer go. But I'm not, drinking wasn't a thing for me, but concerts, for instance, if I'm going to go see a rock concert, it's that's probably like the most high risk function for me on earth, because I never went to one ever sober. Right. And my brain starts to get into this. My brain starts to get into this really weird mindset. But we really do train ourselves, and to break out of that. I've been sober now 8 years, and I still occasionally will run into a first where I'll go, damn, you know what? I've never done this without a buzz. But for the first 2 or 3 years, Rabbit, I mean, every single damn thing I did, I was saying, holy crap, I've never done this sober before. Holy crap, I've never done this sober before. I mean, because everything, you just spend so much time, high.
Yeah, but it's a good feeling, though, isn't it? When you do
It's the
something,
greatest
you don't
feeling.
need to get loaded to do it.
It's the greatest.
I mean, 8
feeling
years,
on earth.
I mean, for you, that's epic, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
You spent a lot of time. You spent a lot of time doing bad stuff, and I mean, the whole reason why I'm here is because of you, man. 'Cause, I mean, if you can change your life, then I can change my life. You know what I mean? For the better.
Right?
I'm trying to.
No, I love that.
And the connections that I've made here, like, I don't know where I would be without them. So I just want to thank you for, having the boat and everything, man.
I want to tell you something. Thank you for being a good dude. People, I told the story briefly the other day, but I get in the moment and I can be a jackass, right? And I had an opportunity to treat Matrix Rabbit horrifically. On the bright side, it didn't happen for but about a second and a half. But I'll tell you what, I still feel bad about that second and a half. But I love you, my brother, and I'm glad that you're on here.
Don't feel bad, Tommy. I mean, Banks was protecting you, and that's his job, and he did a good job. So
he does.
Don't feel bad.
He does an excellent
you thought
job.
I was somebody, but you thought I was somebody that I wasn't, and I totally get that. And I don't hold any ill will towards you or anybody on the boat. Because
thank you, my brother. I appreciate that more than you know. I really do. And thank you so much also for calling in. Thank you, and thank you for calling in. And just as importantly, man, thank you for being a part of the lifeboat because you make the boat a better place. You really do, and that's the most that we can ask. Yeah, that's the most that we can ask from somebody, and when they actually deliver on it, it's fantastic. So, thank you, Todd, and have a fantastic night. Thank you for calling in, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, I hope you're calling again too.
You know what? I guarantee it'll happen, right? We'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I promise. I promise. All right. Have a good night.
I'm not going anywhere either. So good night.
Perfect. Good night. So I want to continue down this rabbit hole that I was talking about because I think that the subject that was brought up is key, right? My girl Brazy. Those days where you literally feel like everything bad that can happen is happening, right? It's just sometimes it is absolutely awful. And I could do the Tony Robbins thing like nobody on earth, right? We could do the hey, it's Tony Robbins. And I could do some motivational stuff. You really could talk about those people that, had those horrific days. I think we've probably talked about this on the lifeboat before. If there's not a speaker on planet Earth that hasn't worked this one, but hey, well, there's Spanky, I think, or I'm looking at that. Yeah. So, but there's always been that, you know what, people. The computer comes back on. Do you remember back in the day, it would go green and the thing would go all the way in and then it would come all the way back up. I lose my chain of thought these days. And the same thing happens with my brain. On the bright side, I'm among friends and I no longer play the game. I no longer chase it when it goes away. Chasing it is a dangerous thing. I have a mystery caller on the line. Mystery caller. Tell us who you are.
Tommy.
Welcome to the lifeboat. Who is it?
It's Rachel.
Rachel, how are you? And welcome to the lifeboat. I'm doing it. Reese isn't here. If
I-
she was,
I just want to call and say that thanks to your channel, I got a 25-year-old kid into rehab. He's an ex-heroin addict, fell off the wagon, started drinking, but went into rehab because I got him hooked on your channel last week.
wow. Good for you. Good for you. Rachel, how fantastic is that? 25 years old. I'll tell you what, that's winning the lottery. Mine happened at 46. If you could shave that 21 years off, God bless you. And thank God that he's listening. So you said he relapsed just with booze, or was he back on the on opiates as well?
No, just back to the booze, but to the point
Thank
that
God.
he was drinking
Thank
and coming
God.
into work, and he was when he went into rehab, he blew a 4.2.
Whoa. People, if you are not familiar with blood alcohol content with BAC and what that means, I'm not making light of it. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. Ha ha. That is a nervous, good God laugh, because above 4, you shouldn't be with us. That's death, right? Above 4 is always been considered. And the reason that, every once in a while you hear somebody who says, hey, the person blew a 4.2 or 0.42, whatever. The reason you hear about it is it's always such a shocker that the person was able to be conscious, because normally anything above 4, honestly, that's end of life stuff. Thank God, honestly, if you understand, especially opiate addicts, if you understand the progression, you saved this person from getting back into what would have absolutely been a death sentence. When you walk away from the drug, right? The relapse starts. It usually starts with weed, or it starts with alcohol, or it starts with benzos, right? But when you get back to your drug, your addiction's been progressing, even though you haven't been doing it. That's a hard concept to wrap your brain around. But if you were doing a gram a day, it's not like your habit goes away. It doesn't at all. So what ends up happening is the person usually overdoses the first times it happens. It's a dangerous thing that takes a lot of people off of planet Earth. So thank God that you caught him rather in the alcohol stage before he got back to the opiates. You literally saved his life. 60% of the pills on the street today are deadly. Frightening. Holy wow. 7 said when they pumped my stomach, I blew a 3.9. That's huge. But thank God that he is in rehab. If there is anything that I can do personally, if you reach out to me when he gets out of rehab, if you I would be more than happy to talk to him. If he's watching the boat, I would love to talk to him and see if there's anything I can do. Sometimes just knowing that you can make a phone call instead of going for that buzz, sometimes that's enough. We can if we can get him here and build him a list of 5 people that he can reach out to. That's how we find success around here. Johnny Scoville, what are you doing? Eating a fire hot beef stick?
It's not that hot, about it.
No, I don't. I'm live. See, my brother really is that dude. Right? Like, we're not even filming stuff, and he's just over here. He just eats hot things all the time. The guy's a weirdo. Nice guy. Nicest you ever want to meet. I mean, he is. My brother's a sweetheart. Nice guy. Huge heart. Just different as the day is long. You remember when Beetlejuice picks up that bug and says and eats it? He goes, I'm telling you, it's just too creepy here, man. I got to get out, And then he picks up the bug and eats it. Okay. I watched my brother do that like 8 years before the movie Beetlejuice ever came out. Johnny's just not right in the head. Sorry. Are you still with me? I may have lost them. Well, congratulations on getting your boy into rehab. That is absolutely huge. And you know something? For the first time, we have weapons to fight addiction. We got legitimate ways to help keep people off dope and get them help. Right? Medical assisted treatment is a real thing, and it's not what it used to be. I know people go, you know what? It's just drug dealing. It's just a different form of drug dealing. It's a much better form of drug dealing. Trust and believe. The person who's buying from that drug dealer has a much better quality of life than the person who's buying from the guy in the parking lot. Is this bacon?
Oh, doggone it. I was going to say I was Kim Carnes and ask you what song it was I sang, but oh well. You already know who it is, so.
You could have pulled off Kim Carnes.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Yeah.
You know something? If everybody on the boat probably gets that joke, but about 7 people. But for all of us of a certain age, that's perfect. It really is. Have you ever heard the Kim Carnes story? Supposedly, the story goes, she had an accident that did something to her. It was if I'm mistaken, I think it was a car wreck. But she had an accident, and afterwards, when she went to record, she had that very kind of heavy, unique voice that made her famous. But she really was not very distinctive prior to that. After that, she sure was. I love Kim Carnes. Betty Davis Eyes.
Interesting.
Such a great song. I loved her. Loved her. So you're a drone flyer, huh?
Yeah. I'm doing it for work. I'm getting ready to go for my commercial FAA license to do it. You have to get a license to do it commercially, but I'm getting ready to go for that pretty soon.
Sure. So for like real estate companies and things like that, you go in and you take pictures from above and do those kind of things.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I don't, at least not yet. I don't even have a unit yet. But I was getting ready to do it for work for orthophotography.
Nice.
That's basically aerial imagery and I'm hoping to do some LiDAR surveys as well, and build some 3D surface models, stuff like that.
Very cool.
But,
very cool.
Yeah.
At some point, I got to send you some pictures of this drone that we got. It's one of those things that this is going to sound horrible. It's going to sound like I'm still that convict dude, right? If Reese is watching, she's going to say I'm crimmy, but I don't know how the hell I ended up with this thing, right? I honestly don't know. I'm not exactly sure how I ended up with it. It's one of those things that I'm not saying it fell off a truck. It didn't. I have no idea. But all of a sudden, I'm getting ready to move, and I'm in Nevada, and I'm going and I open this thing up, and I think it's got to be watches because it looked like that kind of case, But I thought I don't remember. I got a yellow case just like it. I didn't have so I opened this black one. I'm like, it's a big ass drone. I mean, a big one. And then the accompanying box with it had like a 12-pack of batteries.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just insane. I got a whole bunch of stuff. It looks like you could pick up squirrel and fly off with her. Now, I would kill someone who did that. I'm a pretty big fan of the kitty. Good Lord, man.
Yeah. It's probably intended. It's probably intended to have like a big honking camera or something like that mounted underneath it. But yeah, from your description of it, it sounds like it'd probably handle a pretty hefty payload.
It could. I'm telling you, it could lift a cat, unless the cat happens to be. Well, let me rephrase that.
Hey.
It could lift squirrel. There are other content creators that would have a more difficult time with their cat being lifted off the ground. That's all I'm going to say here. Listen, Jimenez says, what question do you give someone who is dealing with addiction, who gets really mean, seems to handle it sometimes, but when he mixes weed and alcohol becomes aggressive? Should I leave? Listen, you know what? If that's 200, that has to be a mistake. And if it is, email me so we can fix that, because that's just too much. For real. There's my advice, honestly, and I hate to say this, but if you were my daughter or my sister, I would say get out of there as fast as you can. I don't like giving that advice to people. I really don't, because underneath that person, he may be the greatest person in the world. However, if somebody is getting mean, why don't you give them enough space to get clean and sober? Because they may be mean when they're clean and sober. So what I would do is I would get away from them and say to them, tell you what, Right now, I'm blaming that aggression on drugs and alcohol. If you get those out of your life, I'm going to give you another shot. If you come back and there's still meanness and aggression and things like that, then we're done, because I don't do mean, I don't do aggression, I don't do any of that. Because the most important thing in the world is that you don't get hurt. And very sadly, there are people out there that that hurt women, and women get hurt a lot. So my advice would be, don't stick around while that person works on themselves. That's dangerous, and I don't want that to happen to you. ZW, thank you. Sorry about that, Ben, but wow, well, that is a great question, isn't it?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I mean, you always have to count safety number one.
Yeah, especially women. You know, for our lady friends, and you know, there are just. I just did this show on Kutcher again, right? This low life. You know, the more I start to deep dive into the world that we live in, the more that I realize that the number of people that have endured really awful stuff and just simply continued. It's awful. It really is, and I think we gotta get to a place where we don't live in that world anymore. But until then, we at least got to make sure that we support one another and make sure that we're all safe. Don't stick around in a situation that could go bad, because it will go bad. You know, if it can, it will. I'm sorry, that's how it works.
Oh yeah, but well, hey, somebody who doesn't really have chemical issues, but somebody who has anger issues and codependency issues, I wanted to thank you big time for starting the boat up, because although, you know, it's not chemical addiction, but, you know, as we've seen, there's quite a few people on the boat that have issues like mine, you know, or anger and whatnot. And addiction's addiction. And,
same boat.
You know, whether it's
exact same boat.
Yeah, same boat. So, hey, thank you so much for starting that up there.
I'll tell you something.
I
appreciate that. I appreciate that more than you know. And I'll tell you something. You're a ripple, right? You're a massive ripple. And I say that in the greatest and highest you know, form of compliment sense of the word, because I'm the first ripple, right? You know, it all, as far as I'm concerned, starts with Q, and Q helping me get sober. But the biggest change in my life, Ben, has been meeting people like you, meeting people like Christy, meeting people like Reese. Reese isn't a drug addict, right? But trust and believe Reese is in the same boat, right? And we all are. It's so weird how much we have splintered out over the years, right? And got narrowed down into these groups that were such subsects of subsects of subsects. It doesn't matter at all. We are all in the same boat. And I am, you know, I'd love to take more credit. I'd love to run around and do a victory lap. The truth, though, is I started this little drug channel, and then all of these wildly intelligent people showed up and said stuff like, hey, you know, it doesn't really matter whether or not we're on drugs, or all of these concepts were pretty new to me. I really kind of studied drugs. And then as I got out and started to do this, the thing that really changed was the first gambler I worked with. Watching this cat, this was in Nevada, so I'm in person, and watching this cat, I'm going, this is a cocaine addict. Like, this is a guy that needs a line. I've watched this show 1,000 times in my life, but this was a person that had never done any chemicals. But the walking back and forth, the doing this number, and he was like, you know, $10. He's like, if I had $10, I'm like, bro, what's $10 going to do? He's like, I'm just going to go down and do a 2-team parlay here. And he was at a hotel. I'm like, oh my God, he needs a hit. He needs that. It was such an eye opener to me that, since then, the number of people who I've met that, you know, so often people who have anger issues and anger management issues end up using a substance to, you know, to cope with that, right? Get over that or whatever. But it's all, when you start to unpeel that onion, the dope, the alcohol, these are symptoms, right? They're not the problem. It always seems like it is, because the symptoms are ugly as hell to look at. But that's not why any of these people are getting loaded. they're getting loaded because of something that you're going to find when you start peeling that onion. And yeah, that's been the biggest eye opener for me, Ben. But I'm so glad that I'm so glad you found the boat. You make it a better place. You know, for real.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll let you go and I'll let somebody else come in, but I just wanted to thank you again and thank your brother as well. He's a good. Oh, and don't forget to thank Smanks.
Yeah, I
They're
promise.
both good people.
No question.
You take care.
And you'll be seeing us. You'll be seeing us again probably pretty soon because there's some visitors in town. And if I go and visit anybody, I'm calling you out. And if you don't come, I'm just going to be offended, right? Being that you're local and all. Being that you're local and all, right? Support your damn family. So, but I love you, my brother, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You're one of the good ones, man. You're one of the good ones.
Take care, man. You have a great evening.
You too, man. Thank you. And Brazy Girl says Q equals Tommy equals the lifeboat equals a better place to be. Thank you so much for your generosity, Brazy. I really appreciate you. I do. And you know what? That's a beautiful comment. I know that Q's mom's watching. And you know what? I'm glad that you said that because she's still a little bent out of shape with me. So is Q. Everybody's mad at me. You know what it is? I deal with I love both of them more than anything in the whole world. I love Q. I love Q's mom. I really do. I'm the mayor of Realville, right? Always have been, always will be. So pipe dreams, right? I'm not much for hitting the pipe dream, right? 10 and 2. Pipe dreams are no good. It's going to take my boy 6 months, I think, right? Now, they're saying it's going to take him a year or more to learn to speak. So I take whatever they predict, cut it in half, figure that's about him. But he keeps telling his mom and predicting that, you know, in the next 45 to 60 days, if you had somebody working with you, right? But he gets the opportunity to see these people 3 times a week if there's no other lockdown or if nothing else bad happens. It's just, and if it was possible, he'd be the guy on the planet that could do it. But I got rehab inside a federal prison system after having a stroke. I have done exactly what he's getting ready to do. And I just said in the beginning, you know what? You're not going to be able to work with them every day. And although they can give you some exercises to do, I have also rehabbed the same way on the street where you literally can work with somebody every single day. And that it's different. It's just different. And to be honest, Mindy jumped my crap. Like was just, she gets a little lippy. I think that's how Quibble would say it. She gets a little lippy. How was my Quibble impression? Did you like that? She gets a little lippy. Actually, my Quibble impression looks like this. Oh my God! Oh my God! You know what? You deserve to live in peace and be treated well. I would personally leave. I think that's a great way to put it. It's never okay. It's never okay to scream at somebody, and it's never okay to put hands on somebody. It's not. I mean, you can scream at somebody if they're about to jump in front of an automobile, but let's be really honest. Let's be really honest. There's no benefit whatsoever, right? In raising your voice. Communication is what works, yeah? So if one is raising his voice at you, then you should not be with that individual. Now, I'm not casting any judgments. We build up relationships with people. You wouldn't be asking this question, right? Whether or not you should leave. If leaving was easy, right? If there weren't feelings there that were so strong that it's making it really hard to leave, then you wouldn't ask that question. Here's the answer again is if this guy is really the one, then he's going to get sober. He's going to get sober and he's going to come immediately smoking back to you as fast as possible. But the question is, right, is he that guy? How are you, by the way?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy and excited.
Okay. I want you to know.
Finally, I got through.
yes, I'm not making light of what's happening, right? At all. And I was a really bad person when I was on drugs. Anybody that was with me should have got away from me, right? I was not a good person. However, I'm a good person now. Those people that I was with back then, they're not around. They have nothing to do with me. They would never believe I'm capable of being a good man. I wish that they had just said at the time, tell you what, go away, prove to me that you can get sober, right? Come back, be a different world. And I'm not talking about the ex-wife. I don't want to be anywhere near the ex-wife. But there were friends I lost that I wish had given me that opportunity. And I think that that's what you should do with your friend, because I'll tell you what, you're worth it.
Yeah, it's my
And
husband.
it's your husband. How long have you been married?
We've been married for 5 years. We have a little daughter. She's 3, almost 4, and I have a son, a teenager. So it's been difficult because I have the kids, but it's also giving me strength on not staying there. So it's been a rough couple of days. I left for my hometown. I'm sorry for my accent. I'm Mexican and I don't speak very well English.
You have a beautiful accent. Are you kidding me? Stop that. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
So I left on Monday, like in a rush, because I didn't want to be there anymore because he got very scary on Saturday. So I left. But it's my home, it's my place, so I want to go back. I don't want to be there if he's going to continue drinking, because it's like when he's not drinking, everything's fine. When he drinks 1 or 2 drinks, it's fine. But the thing is, he did very heavy drugs in the past, and now he's doing mixing with beer. And when he surpasses like a point, I'm not able to handle that. So and it was very scary last time. So he did things in front of people that I didn't like insulting me, and things like that. He's not normally like that. Normally he's very happy and cheerful.
Right.
That was very, not
these
like out of
things
character.
progress. And these things progress always. It's not the next time is going to be worse. Unfortunately, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's the truth, right? The abuse is doing something for him, right? When he abuses you and he's loaded, right? There's a brain chemical that gets released in his brain. It's a sickness, right? Whatever. But for men like this or women like this, because it happens to both sexes, but for people like that release of chemical is another high, right? Unfortunately, in order to get that high the next time, it's going to get pushed a little further. So they'll say something a little nastier, or they'll say it in front of a couple other people, or it rises to the level of getting physical. Even with kids, it gets clouded, and with marriage, I thought at first maybe this was somebody that you were dating, but you know what? It doesn't change. It doesn't. I wish that it did, but it doesn't, because being in a relationship with someone like that, the kids watching that damages another generation. Yeah, we don't want to see that happen to. But you know what? Honestly, the most important thing in this is your safety. And there's somebody out there, honestly, that wants to jump in front of a bus for someone like you, right? That would never raise their voice to you, that doesn't want to get loaded and act like a fool. That person's out there, I promise you, right? That just thinks you're going to be the greatest thing that ever, took a breath of oxygen. Sadly, I've done a couple of shows on this, right? Sadly, we get into this mindset of, well, you know what? I'm here. I'm not someone that advocates for divorce. I'm not. I advocate for marriage and marriage lasting forever. I think that's the greatest thing in the world. But if you say you're scared, then that's a problem. Especially because alcohol as a drug, which by the way is a friggin' poison, but alcohol, what it does is the first thing that happens in your brain is it lowers inhibitions, right? All of those things that make you go, oh no, I'm not doing that. That's a bad idea. All right. That's the first thing that goes. So if we're seeing him get more and more aggressive, Eventually, we're going to see that get to a place where you get injured physically. You're already being injured. Don't get it messed up. He's injuring you talking to you that way, right? These leave scars that last
Yeah.
years after the idiot is gone. But you got to know something. This is his fault, not yours. 100%. You get that, right? This is all on him. This has nothing to do with the kind of wife
Yeah,
you are. It's got nothing to do. Okay, good.
I'm getting there because so he wasn't like this before. So like he was very loving and caring, but it was with the drugs. So it's so I'm in therapy right now.
You didn't do anything to change him, right? A lot of times I
Yeah.
talk, and the reason I'm if I sound like I'm being stupid, it's because every day I talk to people who blame themselves, right? Like I had an email today from a woman that said to me, he hit me the other night, but he wouldn't have been drinking if I hadn't done this, this, and this. And I said, oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay. There never can be any, you've never done a damn thing to bring on whatever the hell. There's no excuse. I promise. I have done this. You can very easily say to somebody, guess what? I'm walking away, right? I'm gone. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to do any of that cutting someone down. If I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and your significant other says things intended to hurt you, there's a problem. If they pick words,
Okay.
right, with the intent to make you feel bad, there's a problem, a big one. Sad, but that's the truth. Now, in a perfect world, we communicate with our significant other, but if they're getting loaded, you have to take care of you, hon. You have a place you can go?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you want your house.
Yeah.
And you should have it. If you,
I want my house back. Yeah, because it's mine.
Well, if you file, once you start that
I feel safe.
process,
Yeah.
they're going to come and get rid of him. That's how that works, right? You're gonna be able to be there, and that's what should happen. You know what? In a perfect world, dude goes out and gets sober, right? He comes back with flowers and he never uses again. Those stories happen, right? Give him that opportunity. Give him the opportunity to go and get all kinds of help and come back with a dozen roses, right? A big smile on his face and saying, I am never getting loaded again. If that happens, that's great, right? And if not, then maybe this wasn't.
Great, I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to happen either if you want to know the truth. I think what you've described, sadly, I think sadly what you've described, people hear a lot. And what it is you fall in love with someone who's using hard drugs. You don't have any idea who they are. They lied to you about every single thing about who they are. I used to be this dude, I promise. You cannot meet somebody and be honest about who you are if you're doing hard drugs. You have to craft a fake character. So then that person gets sober and all of a sudden it's like everything you thought they were, they're not. And it's hard.
Thank you so much because and I just wanted to say that you and Reese have helped me just by listening to you and working through everything and get me some healing. So I really wanted to say that in person. So thank you so much for receiving the call. It means a lot to me. So thank you because I'm very lonely and alone. So really thank you.
You know what? That literally breaks my heart. I'm so glad that you're here. I really am. And you know what? By the time this is done, thousands of people are going to have listened to it. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're in the same situation, please, you got to say to your mate, right? If there's alcohol or drugs involved, then you need to get yourself into a place where you're going to be safe, where your significant other can't hurt you. First and foremost, always number one. Be ready for that, to take care of yourself, right? Always. But if people are talking to you and raising their voice or they're saying things that are mean, that's not normal. If you think that's normal, right? It's because sometimes we stay in relationships so long that it's just like, oh, that's just who he is. Guess what? No, right? That's not normal. That's not normal. What's normal, believe it or not, is two people getting together, and if there's a problem, they hammer things out, they work through it. Amazingly enough, me and my friend do it all the time with people watching. We're just not married or sleeping with one another, but you get the idea, right? You can actually, work. I'm so glad that you are on the lifeboat. I really am. I'm so glad that you're here.
Yeah, I've been here for a while, and as I said, I met you through Aaron with one stream, and then I saw your relationship with Reese, and it's really funny, and I like that, and I enjoy that. And you've been helping me a lot. So I join sometimes. I'm a lurker mostly, but I listen daily. So thank you, really thank you, because
Well,
you've helped me a lot, especially you.
well, I love you.
Really.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. I really am, and thank you for calling in, and for being such a
Thank
sweetheart.
you.
I know Reese is going to go, oh my god, because she missed you, but we will be doing other call-in shows together. I promise. It's funny.
Thank
We
you.
were talking about it together, and I don't. I'm gonna be doing plenty of calls like this where people can just call in, but it's definitely considerably easier when I do it with old Reese. She's really just good at what she does, and having the two of us, it's fantastic. It makes it easier. Thank you again for calling in. You're a sweetheart. Please promise me you're going to protect yourself and
Thank
that you're
you.
going to do what you got to do to
I
get
will.
back in your house. Okay.
I will. And thank you for
Keep us
listening.
in the loop. Oh no, absolutely. It's an honor.
Yeah.
It is an honor. And thank you for your generosity. Please keep us in the loop and let us know what's going on with you. Speaking of which, to
I will.
everybody, Lisa from Jersey, we heard from her earlier. So, because a lot of you have reached out to me, I'm sure Lisa's going to hear this. Lisa, you should know just how many people love you, because there were a bunch of people that reached out and said, hey, how's our girl? Is she okay? So, yeah. And now we have Jimena. Am I saying that wrong? Hold on a second, because I just jerked these things.
Jimena. No, you're saying it right.
I am. Okay, good. Good. Jimena, now you have to keep us in the loop too, because we're going to be all worried about you. You know that?
I will.
Okay, promise?
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Calhoun. Throw some
Bye-bye.
ones up there for me. Have a great night, Jimena. You know what? What a sweetheart, Calhoun, huh? Holy mackerel. What a sweetheart. Everybody toss some ones up there, can we? Huh? That's a frightening situation. And it's one that I hope everybody is listening. Yeah. If you find yourself in a situation where people are treating you poorly, if they're raising their voice at you, or they're screaming at you, or they're saying things designed to hurt you, right? Calling you names, calling you, picking on body, picking on appearance, picking on shape, size, whatever. If they're going out of their way to be cruel, guess what? That's not healthy. Huh? That's toxic. You hear me? That's toxic. We don't do toxic. We don't allow that crap to happen, right? No toxic. Feel me? No toxic. All right. I am Captain Tommy Scoble. You're listening to the Dulcet Tones of Captain Tommy Scoble on 107.5 The Boat. My next caller. What's happening, my friend?
Oh my goodness, the dulcet tones are just amazing.
Right?
Yes, they are.
Pretty beautiful voice yourself.
Well, I'm feeling a little better today than I was yesterday.
Good.
This is your little hummingbird.
Everybody knows who this is. You have an unmistakable voice. This is Ann Hummingbird. You sound better today.
Thank
For
you.
real.
I do. I did something today that was absolutely, it's not going to be a great big deal to the rest of you guys, but some of you guys who know what I've been going through will know. I just drove my car for the first time since surgery.
Whoa! No way.
And I did it. I got to the pharmacy. I got back. I didn't hit anything. Nobody hit me. I am so relieved. And I also stopped and got myself a vape that I've been trying to get hands on for over, since I got out of the hospital.
Oh, I remember. We had this conversation a long, long time ago. Yeah.
Right. And
Good
I
for
finally
you.
got one. I finally stopped and picked one of those up. And I just got home and I had a message from Seventh going, the boat's on. I said, okay, let me catch my breath and I'll be right there.
He's awesome,
And I
isn't he?
saw the call in. And so I called to tell you that. It's like I said, it's probably not a big deal to everybody else, but it sure is for me.
I tell you what, no,
was-
that's a huge deal. Come on, that's a huge deal. And everybody here gets that. It's a massive milestone in the I am healing process. It is the guess what? I'm ambulatory. I can get up, I can move around, I can drive someplace. If I gotta go to a store, I can do it. That's a massive step, man. Are you kidding?
It
No,
was
maybe-
it was really, really huge to me, and my biggest fear was my car's been sitting for so long that it wasn't going to start.
Right? By the way,
But it
congratulations
did.
on the vape. That's harm reduction, sunshine.
Yes, it is. Yes,
That's
it
going to
is.
be. I'm telling you, give yourself. It's going to be a little. There's going to be a little bit of a adjustment period, but give
Oh, I
yourself about
know. I
5 or
had
6
already
days.
started on them, and then I didn't have any more, and I could not get them. And people were saying, well, get DoorDash to deliver you one from 7-Eleven. Well, 7-Eleven won't sell them to DoorDash
They will
people.
not DoorDash nicotine products at all. That's my
Right.
understanding. Yep, been through
Right.
this with some
Not nicotine at all, because kids could get their hands on it is the reason.
Yeah,
But of course,
it's just a
you know,
regulation thing.
you can DoorDash alcohol, so that makes no sense to me. But
Yeah,
what do I know?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense at all. It really doesn't. But
I'm not
one of
in
those
charge.
silly things. On the bright side, we're back to you're back to where you need to be. That makes me that gives me a warm and fuzzy inside. And
Oh,
it
I'm
really
so
does.
glad. It's
Yeah,
giving me a
no, that's
warm,
awesome.
fuzzy feeling inside.
Yeah,
And
that
I
is
hope
so
I didn't
cool.
overdo it on the first try, but I'm
Well, you know
so
what?
proud of myself.
You should be. The official participation trophy. Jen Miller, long time no see. Great to see you. No, the official participation trophy. This is all you, Sunshine, because for real, that's a massive step. That's a massive, massive step. I'm so glad that the car started for you, and I'm glad that this is it's a signpost, right? It's a signpost on the way to full recovery, and that says really huge things. You know, proud of you,
Yeah,
super proud of you.
I'm
And
really excited because now I get to go to a different doctor who hopefully will start me on some physical therapy, and then the real healing will begin in earnest. And I am so looking forward to that.
Well, you know what? From yesterday to today, if you're a
Mhm.
boater, go back and listen to Ann Hummingbird's call yesterday, and then listen to Ann Hummingbird's call today. Just listen to the tone. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like talking to two different people. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm not taking anything away from you yesterday, Ann, but boy, oh boy, you sound like you got up and got around on your own today. That's what you sound like. You really do. That's
Yes,
awesome.
I did. And it took me only 2.5 hours to talk myself into getting in the car and doing it.
Well, that's not bad at all. It really isn't. That's not bad at all. 2.5 hours to talk yourself into it. Probably about what, a 10-minute ride? That sounds about right.
Well, probably a total of 10 minutes of driving and 15 minutes of waiting in a line at the pharmacy drive-through. But yes.
Good for you.
So
proud of you.
I'm just amazed.
For everybody that was up late last night, sneaking
I
around
was one of those.
Hanging out with the wild crowd up late last night. I'm telling you.
Hey, it's the best
Dad
crowd
goes to bed
besides the
early.
boat.
Yeah, Dad goes to bed early, and the wild childs all come out, and apparently, our friend from Florida separated a fight among two felines, and took an injury to the paw, her paw, not theirs, but she's doing better. Yeah, I know. You guys were all.
We were
gotta-
all in there worrying and trying to get her to get checked because she was sending pictures of the
Yes, I
swelling.
saw a couple of them. They're horrific. They scared
And
me.
we're going, you need to go. And
Right, or we're gonna call Tommy. That would have been the thing to do too. Next time you just call me, I promise I would have got on there and gone, what are you doing? Sure.
and then she said that she would get cussed out more by Reese than you. And then it was
Well, I would have
pointed
called
out
Reese.
that people could also call Reese.
I would have called Reese instantly anyway. That would have been my go-to move as soon as I found out. I'd have done a three-way call and the two of us would have screamed at her. I mean, that's a lock, I
Oh,
promise. We would
goodness.
have yelled at her together. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, can you imagine the both of us teaming up on you? It's bad enough. Usually you only see us fighting each other, and usually that's at least we're evenly matched. If the two of us were to gang up on somebody, oh man, I feel really bad for that person. I really would.
I feel terrible for that person. I'm so relieved that we didn't make that call.
Yes. So let that be a lesson to you people, right? You follow instructions. You don't want the
Well,
the internet mom and dad.
this community goes beyond you when you go to bed. And when I was in trouble in the hospital, they were all over it.
They're some of the best people on earth. You know what? The same thing happened with the Molesky family. They were out there every day with them, and the crew of the boat is it's a very unique group of people, and a caring, loving group of people. And I couldn't be more proud to be associated with everybody here for real. It's
Why did I trip accidentally into the right place when I followed you from some true crime story into your boat? I just don't remember what it even was.
You know what? Those are my favorite stories when people say that. I don't know how I found you. It was true crime something, but I don't know. Yeah, I did. I've done a lot of true crime. So
yeah, and there were so many true crime cases going on at the time that it could have been any number of them.
Absolutely.
That
yeah.
That I thought that's how I found you. Later, I saw you on Aaron.
Yep.
I followed Reese from Aaron. I was one of her first subscribers when she set up her channel.
Wow.
Because Aaron was trying to say we need to get her channel up and running, so I went over there and was one of her first subscribers. I don't know if she knows that, because by the time she saw it, there was a whole bunch of people. But
I don't know. I know that she does. I know she does the Muppet hands whenever your name comes up. So she probably knows you're at least. You're certainly one of the early people, because the early people are usually the ones that. Hold on 1 second.
Well, on Huxley's birthday, I got to speak to Huxley and tell him and apologize to him that as much as I care about him, I'm still a Denver Bronco fan.
Oh, it's not going to make you.
He thought that was hysterically funny.
Yeah, yeah. On the bright side, I bowed out a while ago, but I used to be back in the day. I used to be a big New York Giants fan. So
yeah. Well, the Manning brothers.
We used to play the donkey. What are they called again? The
Broncos.
Broncos. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I confused those animals. They kind of look similar. One looks like a. No, I'm just joshing you. Just messing.
I know.
Because I used to do this viciously to my friends that were actually big football fans. We used to have a lot of fun. Ribbon the.
I actually knew John Elway in high school.
Stop it! I think you told me that once before, actually.
Yes, I did.
That man was talented. I mean,
and he was an ass then, and he still is.
You know what? I believe that. But the quarterback is always an ass. I'll have you know I didn't play quarterback. Quarterbacks were always
This is true. But Peyton Manning was like his brother Eli on the Those two are just the gentlemen of the sport, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you. The last game that I watched, the last football game I ever watched from start to finish, was the last game that Peyton Manning played when he was a Denver Bronco. I watched that.
And he won this, when he won that Super Bowl.
Yep, that was the last ball game I ever watched. After that, it was a wrap.
I was at Mile High Stadium when they won the championship to go to the Super Bowl.
Nice.
In the snow.
There was a game that he threw like 7 touchdowns passes in one game, or I don't remember. He broke a record, but it was October. No, maybe it was September. Whatever it was the day that I had gotten out of prison, and I had gotten released in Colorado because I had been at Florence. So my wife and I drove to Denver, and they were beeping the horns, and everybody was like, lighting off fireworks and being crazy in the streets. And I woke up in the morning, and my wife at the time, it was the attorney, she looked at me, she goes, "I cannot believe you slept through that last night." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Oh, it was so noisy." She said, "I've never heard more noise in my life." She goes, "You slept like a stone." The following night, it was silent, right? And I couldn't sleep a lick. I was so used to all of that noise that when it was quiet, I was terrified. I was sitting up like, "What the hell is this? Can we turn on some background noise?" But yeah, that day when he threw all those touchdown passes, man.
That whole year was a fabulous year.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Good year for the
And
Broncos.
he still lives in Denver. He still lives there. Yeah.
I can see that. It's a beautiful place, man. It really is. Colorado's lovely.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is. I've been trying to get home for 50 years.
Well, I'm glad you are. I really am.
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm still in California, but
no, but I'm glad that you're healthy, and I'm glad that you're moving in the right direction. And you scared us. I'm telling you. But
I was pretty darn scared myself.
But
and there's been a lot of complications, and there's still a long road ahead. And
I'm glad you're
on the right path now.
You're up. Yeah, I'm glad you're moving forward, and I'm glad that you sound like you're winning. You know what I mean? I'm glad that you sound like the Ann Hummingbird of old.
Well, today I feel like that.
Good.
Tomorrow morning, I might not feel so great. I may have overdone it, but I'm hoping that it wasn't too much. It's going to be fine.
You're going to let us know, though, right? Because
yeah, of course I will.
That's right.
And I love you all. Everybody on this boat, I love you more than I can tell you.
Well, we love you too, Ann Hummingbird, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for calling in, and you know what? I think you may be the last caller. Calhoun, am I going to get in trouble by saying that? Because I do have a cat in a basket. I don't know. I'm waiting to see if my kid
I
gives me trouble.
love cats in a basket.
Right? Right? Yeah, how can you not? And I have promised 2 things. We will judge nobody for the things that they did when they were on drugs or alcohol, because they weren't the people at the helm. It's not their fault. And more cat in a basket than any other content creator on YouTube. And I will stick by those. That's what we do here.
My daughter is now collecting baskets for her 17 cats.
She should have 17 perfect baskets. Cats are never happier than when they're sleeping in a basket. Squirrel Nut Zipper doesn't leave this thing. I mean, if I'm anywhere near the office, then she is. This is where she at. If I am anywhere even close to the office, she is parked in here like this. She is just the happiest little animal in the world. And Hummingbird, you made my night. I'm glad that you were the last call. I really am. You just sound so much better, and that really makes me happy. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and that goes to not just Ann Hummingbird, but to virtually all of you here on the lifeboat. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. I know there are many choices you can choose when flying the friendly skies. No, but for real, I know that there is a ton of places that you could spend your time when you're on YouTube, and it does actually mean an awful lot to me that you come here and spend time with me on the boat. It means the world to me. I love you guys. All right.